Google and Yahoo, which process a large percentage of the emails worldwide, announced some changes to their requirements for those who send emails to them starting this month. If you send a lot of emails to market your business and you're worried about the latest changes, then this episode would explain what those changes are and how they apply to your business in the simple, jargon-free way we always do it. Welcome to the Tech Your Business podcast, where we break down technology so you can apply it to your business to make more money and do more in less time. I'm Peter Banigo. I'm the founder of Target ICT Ltd, a fully remote IT consulting firm, and your host today. On the 1st of February 2024, an update went live on Google Mail, requiring that your email servers are to be set up in a particular way, especially for those who send bulk emails. That's if you send above 5,000 emails a day, then this applies to you. And these changes have to be made so that your email would avoid landing in spam or getting rejected. So some of these changes are, first of all, using a custom domain when sending bulk emails. Whatever time I talk about here, I'll break them down when we go into the episode. Secondly, ensuring subscribers can easily unsubscribe from your mailing list in one click. Thirdly, making sure that not too many people report your messages as spam. Fourth, ensuring that your emails are sent through a secure connection. Read it as TLS connection. Then fifth, making sure that all your emails are secure and verified by implementing the basic. These are things we've always implemented in emails, but now they are making them mandatory. So there are things called SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. These have to be implemented in all your emails, and as I said, we'll explain what all those are. So I'm sure you've heard about some of these changes in the past few months. And the changes, especially the official announcements, are full of so many terms and jargon. So this episode is meant to simplify this as usual for you and make everything clear to even the non-technical business owner. So let's go right in. The first thing I'll talk about is the custom domain requirements. So if you already have a website for your business, your domain name, I'm sure most of you know this, but your domain name is your web address. So for instance, our website is techyourbusinesspodcast.com. So our domain name is that, techyourbusinesspodcast.com. So basically, for a lot of business, especially when people start out in business, they start out sending emails probably through Gmail, AOL, or their yahoo.com free email addresses and all that. So, and it has never ever been good practice to send bulk emails with these free extensions. So first of all, apart from these rules, it doesn't make your brand look good. But with this change, this can also make your emails end up getting rejected or land in spam. I started with this because this is the simplest problem to solve. First of all your mails have to be sent by probably info, mail, or whatever at your domain name.com. So to solve this problem, you need to register a custom domain if you don't have one already. You can get one for as little as £10 a year. We sell those £10 a year or less or more, depending on the extension of the domain. But it's always advisable to choose a .com or .your country. So if you're in the UK, you use .co.uk. If you're in Canada, you can use .ca. If you're in Australia, you use .com.au, New Zealand, .co.nz, depending. Because there are some cheaper domain extensions, especially, which if you use them in sending bulk emails, because a lot of spammers register them because they cost very little. A lot of spammers register them. So these domain extensions are more likely to be flagged by email providers. So when you get your custom domain, just connect it to whatever email service you use currently to send your bulk emails. We can also do that for you. Then update all your email marketing to reflect this new custom domain. So this should easily fix this problem for you. And with what I just explained, you'll be able to move from Gmail, Yahoo, or AOL.com to your own custom domain for emailing. Like I said, that's a simple and easy fix. The next change they talked about is dealing with spam complaints. If you've had an email account for long enough, I'm sure you get spam, because I know I do. I get tens of spam messages every single day. If you send bulk mail, the new rules require that you keep spam complaints. So that's people receiving your email and clicking, this is spam. You keep spam complaints below 0.3%. So jargon free. This means that for every 5,000 emails you send, less than 15 people should click your emails as spam. So you can see how that works. That means that your emails have to be really relevant and really something, especially when you're sending bulk, your emails need to be something your subscribers want to receive so they don't get irritated and click on spam for you. So it's important, as said, to keep these spam complaints low, because apart from these changes in this month, having a lot of spam complaints or sending low quality email damages your sender reputation. It impacts your inbox placement. So already you must have noticed, especially in Gmail, you have the primary, you have the promotion and different tabs. People marking you as spam and co impacts where your emails are placed to. So there are different ways to keep your spam complaints low, or within, at least below the limit specified. Some ways you can do this are sending quality, like I said before, relevant and targeted emails. Targeted emails, you can send targeted emails by segmenting your audience. So if in your normal email marketing platform, most of them give you options to segment your audience. So you can say, for instance, if we have an email audience, we have different segments for our audience. We have, for the podcast, you have a segment for guests who want to be on the podcast. You have a segment for guests who have been on the podcast. You have a segment for listeners of the podcast. So things like that. Segment, so that when you send out emails, you don't just send to everybody. Just imagine sending an email for guests who want to be on the podcast to listeners, or to guests who have been already. You can see how irritating that is going to be. So segment your email lists. Then also make sure you clean your email list regularly. So go through your email list. Like I said, most marketing platforms have this function too. For people who don't engage, for people whose emails have bounced and things like that, clean them from your from your list, so that you have only active and people who want to receive your emails on your list. Then lastly, you can also monitor your spam complaints. With Google, they have the Google Postmaster tool. So the link would be in the show notes below. You can log on there and check your emails, check how many are being reported as spam, just check different things. You can get a lot of data from the tools like the Google Postmaster tools. That's for your emails going to Gmail or Google Workspace. So the next change I'll talk about, this is the third, would also coincidentally reduce your spam complaints. Although this change isn't due till June 2024. This change is that you should ensure that you make it easy for people to unsubscribe from or indicates that they want to stop getting emails from you. Talking about subscription, if you're enjoying this episode so far, please subscribe, please like or follow wherever you're listening to or watching this, and also share to any other business owner or person who you think this episode or this podcast will help, as this will help us grow. So back on the topic, you should have a one-click unsubscribe link, or one-click unsubscribe should be implemented in every bulk email you send. This is one of the rules, and like I said, this won't be implemented by June 2024. So why is this important, having a one-click unsubscribe? It is important because when a typical user receives an email they don't want from you, they have three options typically. The first thing, especially if they don't like the email or they don't want the email, so the first thing they can do is to delete that email. But that means when you send another email to that list, they are going to get it from you, which might still annoy that user. The second option would be to mark your email as spam, which according to the previous rule I talked about, it's bad because it might get it above that 0.3% limit. And the third option to stop receiving emails from you is to unsubscribe from your list. So when you have a one-click unsubscribe implemented in your emails, it gives recipients who are no longer interested in being on your list an easy way out. You don't have to have them delete or mark you as spam. They just unsubscribe and you're good. They are good. Everybody's happy. Implementing this one-click unsubscribe means adding one-click unsubscribe headers in your bulk email. So an example of this one-click unsubscribe email header would be in the description. So this means that unlike the normal unsubscribe links where in your emails where you have a link at the footer of the email and the user clicks and is sent to a new page, maybe on your website or on the email provider, and there they confirm that they want to leave. Sometimes you see some pages begging you and giving you different reasons not to leave. Now with this one-click unsubscribe, they'll be able to see your email, and even in the email client, before opening your mail, they'll be able to see an unsubscribe button and click on it to let you know that they want to unsubscribe from your list. According to the rules, you're required to honor this unsubscribe request within 48 hours. So like I said, this till June 2024, this won't be implemented, or this won't be implemented, yes, as long as you have the normal visible unsubscribe link in your footer. So we're in February, have like 4 months. So that part was easy. I'm going from the easiest to the more technical. And the next one is that all emails are required to be sent through a secure connection. So that this means TLS. TLS means transport layer security. So next time someone mentions TLS to you, maybe a consultant or something, at least you can always nerd it out with them. Transport layer security, TLS. So that means basically, I think it's a bit self-explanatory. It means that when your email is sent from your server to the recipient server, it is sent through an encrypted connection. So this encryption protects the contents of your email from hackers or other third parties that may want to intercept your messages. So having your email sent through a TLS connection provides a layer of privacy and security for your data, your subscribers' data. And TLS is actually an industry standard that most email providers require that bulk senders use. To implement TLS in your emails, most providers, if you use maybe Gmail or you use Outlook, you likely are already using TLS because they use it by default for their security. But if you're hosting your own email server, probably maybe on a cPanel server like ours, or you're on the cloud, you're hosting your email on the cloud, then you might need to enable this TLS connection by yourself. So this basically involves acquiring an SSL or TLS certificate and installing it on your mail server. So there are the paid servers, like you have Komodo, you have DigiCert, those are the popular people. Then there are also free SSL certificates you can get. These usually come with your hosting account. For our hosting accounts, we give you free SSL certificates from Let's Encrypt. So if you want to send your emails from your own server rather than using maybe Google Workspace or Outlook or one of the others, then make sure you have an SSL certificate installed and working. So your email hosting provider can guide you on the specifics for your setup. They would always do that if you need help enabling TLS for your bulk emails. So the last one, I think I mentioned this earlier, SPF, DKI, and DMARC. And this is the fifth, right? Yeah, this is the fifth requirement. The fifth requirement is enabling email authentication for all emails. We've been doing this for a couple of years, especially when sending bulk emails. The protocols that you have to implement are SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. These will be explained shortly. These protocols are there to prove that your emails are really coming from your domain. Because especially when you host on your own server, at times you might get hacked or your email might get spoofed, and you have people sending out emails that look like they come from your domain or from your server, but they don't actually come from your server. So let's start with SPF. SPF means Sender Policy Framework. So SPF verifies that your email server is authorized to send emails from your domain. So what that means is you have a domain name, custom domain we mentioned before, that's there, but you also have an email server, which is your hosting server, which is where your mails are stored and your emails are sent from. So when these emails are sent out, they are sent using your domain as the identifier, to make it human readable, to make the email address human readable. So the SPF is like an ID system, yes, like I said, confirming that the emails are genuinely from you. That's all it's about. The next one is the DKIM. I'm doing them definitions now. DKIM, it's the full meaning is Domain Keys Identified Mail. And DKIM adds a digital signature to all your messages. So this signature confirms that the email has not been altered or tampered with since it left your server. Remember I said it goes from your server through an encrypted connection to the receiver server. So DKIM just confirms, okay, this email that left this server is still the same email that has landed in this server. So it's I think the security, it actually benefits you too at the end of the day. So the third definition is DMARC, DMARC. DMARC, full meaning is domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance. So what this helps to, like I said, they work together. What this helps to is to align the SPF and the DKIM settings together. So it checks, what the DMARC checks, that all authentication details that's from your SPF and your DKIM, all authentication details match up with whatever domain. Remember custom domain, that was the first point, whichever domain you are sending from. So if anything looks off, the email provider can reject or delay your email for further checks. So using these protocols, SPF, DKIM, and DMARC together builds extra trust and security around your emails. And it also proves to your recipients and the mailbox providers like Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, Zoho, and the rest that your messages are legitimate, and it results in a lower probability of your emails ending up in spam, which is a big waste of time and everything else. So implementing email authentication on your emails or your server, for these three rules, they are all implemented by adding a TXT record in your domain's DNS settings. So there are tools that can generate, either you have tools that can generate your SPF, DKIM, and DMARC settings, or your email provider or your hosting provider will be able to give you the details, give you the data or the steps to implement this. So you can use if you go to your domain registrar, go to DNS management, you'll be able to see these things. You'll be able to see where you can add a text, that's TXT record. So you can add, once you have these values from your provider, you just add this in your DNS settings and you're good to go. And also if you host through cPanel, you can also, under domains, under the domain section in cPanel, you'll be able to put in these settings. Then what you do is you determine the correct values for SPF, DKIM, and DMARC based on your domain and the servers you send emails from. Then the text record, TXT records I mentioned before, you add these TXT records to your domain's DNS, either through the DNS management or through your cPanel or wherever you modify your DNS settings from. Then you confirm that these records you updated are visible and they are working. And once you're done, you should be good to go. So I believe if you follow the steps in this episode of the podcast, you should no longer have any issues with, and you should fully understand these new email rules. I don't think at the end of this, they should be too complicated to you because, like I said, I want to make tech less complicated for business owners. So first of all, let's do a recap. We had the custom domains. Ensure that all your emails are sent through a custom domain. Ensure that your spam complaints are very low. 15 out of 5,000 is very, very low. So try not to annoy your receivers. Ensure you have one click on subscribe. That's before June 2024. Ensure you have one click on subscribe implemented in all your bulk emails. So if you use a mailing service provider, I think they should do that for you. But if you're sending from your own server, like I said before, if that's your thing, I'll add sample code to implement that. Fourth is ensure that all you have an SSL or TLS certificate installed on your server. So all emails are encrypted and sent through a secure TLS connection. Then the last one is the one I went over, the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, to ensure to authenticate your emails, to make sure that your emails are coming from the server and the server has permission to send with your custom domain. So that's what they do. So the links to the original announcements, the links to the other things I mentioned will all be in the description. So if you want to go over this yourself, you can do it. And if you have any difficulty setting up, just reach out to me. We can help you sort it out. That's what we do every single day. So if you want to be the first to know when we post more helpful content for business owners like this, please like and subscribe wherever you're listening. And please feel free to share your biggest takeaway from this episode. And if you got any value from this, please share it with anyone who you know it would help with managing their email, with ensuring that their emails don't end up in spam. So if you're interested also in hearing more about this topic, in episode 34, when you send out emails, you're trying to get people to respond to, a lot of the time, you're trying to get people to respond to offers you have or things like that. Or you're trying to qualify to reach out to people and get leads who would potentially buy from you. So on episode 34 of the podcast, I had a guest on where she talked about tactics that she uses and implements for others on getting better quality leads into your email list and better conversion. So when you have better quality leads, and relevant leads, you would have that a less probability of them clicking on the spam, which is very important. So you can go over, just scroll through, listen to episode 34. Once you're done, tell me what you think. But till next time, next episode of the podcast next week, bye for now.